them? Were they seen in the past? See, these are enigmas. Are the so-called UFOs them? See, that's an enigma. What are the so-called UFOs? What are they? Are they really the chariots of the Lord? Does the Bible really speak about them? Were they seen in the past? See, these are enigmas. Are the so-called UFOs really spoken of in Scripture? That was number 5. Number 6, are we...
All right. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakach Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, brothers, business, truth, and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And I want to go into this, going into the UFOs. It's not going to be a super long lesson, but hopefully it's edifying through the spirit. So this is the elder Apostle Kabar's video, and the question that which you just heard him is asking about the Israelites. I mean, it's like the Israelites, the UFOs, and are they speaking of in the scriptures? Are they spoken of? Are they talked about in times past? You know, what are the accounts and pretty much that I want to get into? Because the scriptures do speak about the so-called UFOs, which they're called what? The chariots, right? They're the chariots of the Lord's. That's going to be the what the Lord is going to use to come back, you know, and the angels going to come back and beam up the elect and also cause destruction, right, upon Babylon the Great, right? That's also what's going to happen. So it's going to be the Israelites, the elect, right? The elect salvation. And it's also going to be the destruction, part of the destruction, because the other part of the destruction is going to be the nuclear missiles, but part of also the destruction of America, right? So it's going to save this is going to save the elect, and it's also going to destroy this place, right? And those are going to be the so-called UFOs. So when you watch the news, and like they have the sightings, or when you go on the internet and watch like the little UFO sightings, that's what that is, man. I mean, it's not no big green-headed alien with big old black bug eyes sitting there speaking and no, those people not in there, man. The UFOs is gonna have, you know, the angels in it, right? And they're gonna get the elect. They're gonna save the elect up out of this place, out of the pending destruction, right? So, and then also to speak on it very loosely, that's what in slavery, that's what the our ancestors, that's what they were singing. That swing low, sweet chariot, come take us home, or something like that. However that goes, that's what that is about, because they knew, hey, look, hey, come get us out of here, right? They're talking about the so-called UFOs. They were talking about the so-called UFOs, right? So let's get the first scripture that I want to get, and let's get this out the way. Let's start off with this one to lay the foundation, right? Because when you see what you're gonna see when you see the word clouds, sometimes mentioned in the scriptures is talking about the chariots. And how do we know that? Right here. This is Psalms 104 verse 1. It says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord, my power." It says, "Thou art very great, thou art clothed with honor and majesty." It says, verse 2, "Who covers thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angel spirits his ministers a flaming fire." Right? He maketh the clouds his chariot. So when you hear the clouds, sometimes in the scriptures, it's talking about the chariots, right? Which is the so-called UFOs. And now, you know, let's get an account of them being seen, right? And let's go to, I could have sworn I had it down. Where is it at? Oh, no, I did have it down, but I didn't click it. It's Ezekiel 1, right? It's Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the chariots and he described them, right? This is where do I want to start at? We'll start at 15. It says, "Now I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, which a beryl is a green, green. It's green. And it says, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. It says, when they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four." And what is the rings? I mean, no, not the rings, Slakia. What are the eyes? What is talking about? It's talking about the lights. So Ezekiel seeing, and you gotta understand also, when you go into the scriptures, at particular times that these prophets were giving these visions, they don't have, let's say, how do I describe it? The technology and the words and stuff like that to fully describe what they're seeing. So they have to use what they knew. They had to use what they knew at that particular time to describe the things that they see. Right? Just how when you read about the missiles coming over here, and Revelation, John seeing these things, but he's like, it looks like a star. Like he didn't know what he didn't know what a missile was, right? So he had to describe it the best way he could with what he knew about at the time that he was around. So he described them as like stars, right? And it's the same thing that Ezekiel was doing. Ezekiel was describing. He said, "Okay, this thing looks like it's a wheel, a wheel inside of a wheel," and he's like, "Oh, these eyes are all around it, right?" And then those are the lights, right? So he's describing the chariot. It says, when they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they turned. It says, as for the rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four. It says, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. It says, whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. They went thither. Was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Now, I can assume that the NLT will probably be going off. Let's see what the NLT says here. It's Ezekiel 1. And 15, it says, in the NLT, it says, as I looked at these beings, I saw four wheels touching the ground besides them, one wheel belonging to each other. The wheels sparkled as if made of beryl. All four wheels looked alike and were made the same. Each wheel had a second wheel turning crosswire within it. It says the beings could move in any of the four directions they faced without turning as they moved, right? And also the chariots, to go into that, the chariots don't how when you get on a plane, for them to take off, they gotta go slowly on the runaway, and then they finally gotta go through that long course and press the full gas and throttle for them to get that speed for them to take off in the air. They don't have to do that. And then when it's time for them to turn, they gotta make a whole wide turn for them to turn in the direction. The chariots don't do that, man. Chariots go zoop, 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 left, right, diagonal, up, down. They just move. You see? And Esau doesn't have that technology to do that. We're talking about the technology of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. They don't have the technology for them to do stuff like that. Right? Obviously, Esau has like their fire jets and whatever the case may be. But in order for the fire jets to turn around, they got to go up in the air, all the way up in the air for them to turn around and go in the direction, or they got to make a huge left turn or a huge right turn. If the chariot is going straight and it wants to go to the side, it just zooms to the side. If it wants to go up farther, it just zooms up. If it wants to go down, it just zooms down. Planes, you got to do the descending. You got to turn. You got to descend. You got to keep descending and going down for you to know. Chariots don't do that, man. The chariots are the technology of the chariots of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is far light years, and it's blow Esau out the water, man. So this is what Ezekiel was seeing. He's seeing the chariots. the so-called UFOs. It says the beings could move in any of the four directions they faced without turning as they moved. It says the rims of the four wheels were tall and frightening, and they were covered with eyes all around, which is the the lights. It says, it says when the living beings moved, the wheels moved with them. When they flew upward, the wheels went up too. It says the spirit of the living being was in the wheels, so wherever the spirit went, the wheels and the living beings also went. So NLT didn't go off. The NLT does go off sometimes, but that was actually good to help you understand it a little better, right? So that's one account, right? That's one account of Ezekiel when he was seeing the chariots, right? Now let's get this. Let's get the Acts. Let's get the Acts account, right? This is Acts 1 and verse 9, and the subheading says the ascension. It says, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud, and we just read in Psalms 104, what it says, he maketh the cloud his chariots. So this is talking about so-called UFO or chariot, or the chariot, so-called UFO, right? It says, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And this is talking about the Lord. It's talking about Yahushua. And it says, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, so disciples over here looking up, they're looking up, right? It says, steadfastly towards heaven, as he went up, beheld two men stood by them in white apparel, and these are the angels. It says, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, so shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. And what are the angels telling them? The same way you seen him go up, right? A chariot came down, got Yahushua and took him to go be with his father, right? And the same way that you seen him leave is the same way you're gonna see him come back. Do you see? So you see him leaving the chariot, and when he get ready to come back to the earth, right, to get his men and to establish his kingdom on earth and destroy this place and destroy wicked ass Israelites and the other nations and all this stuff. When he's ready to do, he's gonna come back with that, right? And when he comes back with the thousands of heavens with the angels, he's gonna come back with the angels, and they gonna have chariots. It's gonna be an all-out invasion, man. An all-out invasion. Right? It's going to be of chariots. So the UFOs are spoken about in the scriptures, right? Are spoken about in, I wasn't going to get an NLT, but I'll pass. Right? Now let's get this. This is Revelation 11 and 11. We'll start at 11. And it reads, it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, which is happening now. Right? These other nations are falling in fear because we're standing up. The spirit of life has entered into us. We understand the truth. Right? So when other nations are, oh, no, they're waking up. You know the elites. The elites is getting ready to try to make their move, man, because, they understand that their time is coming to an end. Because now these people have awoken to the lies and the deceit that we've been trying to hide this whole entire time. And we know that, hey, we got to make our move, man, which is going to be the New World Order, which is going to bring about their destruction. The Most High is playing chess, not checkers, man. So Esau may think he might be doing something, but at the end of the day, your New World Order and all that other stuff is just going to bring your destruction, man. It's going to bring your captivity and into your world. You see, Esau think he about to bring the New World Order and he's about to be on top forever now. No, man. The Lord's gonna come back and interrupt you right before you think you've done it. Yeah, we done it. Cheers. He's trying to celebrate. That's when the Lord's gonna come back. Boom. Nope. Nope. It's not gonna happen. Right. And let's keep going. Verse 12. It says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, right? And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, which is what the chariots. So the elect is going to get beamed up out of this place before the missiles come down and rain on this place, because we know Babylon the Great is going to be completely destroyed. There's going to be that lake of fire. This place is going to be a desert after that fire dies down, right? And it says, and their enemies beheld them. You see, and that same hour, in the same hour, was there a great earthquake. And what's going to cause a great earthquake? The missiles. It says, in the 10th part of the city fell, the whole city, all the zones. Because when you look up the I think it's the FEMA zones or whatever, they're gonna split the United States in 10 parts. Right? And it says the 10th part of the city fell. In the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. You see, a complete, and 7 means completion. A complete amount of people gonna die. And it's gonna be millions upon millions upon millions of people. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. Right? And that's what's gonna happen, because what does the scripture say? It says the righteous will scarcely be saved, man. So if you running from the troops or whatever the case may be, you're gonna get your head chopped off, and then the Most High sends His Son back right there. Yahweh Shai comes back with the angels. The guillotine is like an inch away from your neck, and then you just next thing you just get beamed up in the air. Who know? We don't know how it's gonna happen. Whoa! You're gonna be crying. You're gonna be. It's gonna be a joyful, terrifying time, man. Because you're like, oh man, I made it out of here. All that stuff that was going on. You see? And then, hey, man. Now let's get this, because it also says and their enemies beheld them. So the enemies are seeing, right? And to go into that, we're gonna go to the Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, right? We're gonna start at verse 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him." And who has afflicted us the most? Starting off with Esau and the other nations, right? Esau first, because when you read, what is that? Psalms, what is that? 80, it's either 83, 85, or 86, I believe. One of those three. Where it talks about the how the nations were confederate against thee, and then it starts to name the nations, and Esau was first. And it says, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they have looked for. And why is it going to be? Why are these people going? It's like it. Why are these people going to be amazed at the strangeness? Is because the stuff that we're telling you is going to come true. This is going be deliverance that was greater than the Exodus. You know, when this parting of the sea. It's gonna be strange. You're gonna be seeing UFOs all over the place. Gonna be covering the skies. Gonna be zipping, entering into different dimensions, coming out, reappearing, disappearing, floating and zipping left and right, up and down, doing all types of things, man. He's all gonna be shooting his rockets and missiles and tanks, and gonna be shooting all those things. His firefighter jets gonna fight against him. Ain't gonna be able to do nothing. You're gonna be seeing all these things, and they're gonna be seeing people just being lifted up. Like, oh, what the? Take me, I want to go. Where is he going? People they're gonna be like, what's going on? Why is these people getting beamed up? Hey, I know him. Wait. You see, he be doing all types of things in that day. It says, so far beyond all that they have looked for, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? And who are the saints? The Israelites. All right? And that's what they're going to be thinking. These people are the men of the Lord. These people are the prophets. These people are the Lord's men. What? He didn't have no money. He didn't have none of this. He didn't have nothing. How is he? You know, people going to be having all types of questions and amazed. And they're going to be angry too. Oh, you see? And especially Jake that see it. Oh, you see? But that's the chariots, man. That's going to be the chariots. All this stuff is going to be strange to the other people. They ain't going to be strange to us because we know what's coming. It's going to be beautiful when we see it. You know, if we make it to that far, to be able to see this, you know, the salvation, to see those things. Because that's going to be a beautiful sight, man. To see the Lord come back, to see To see the Lord come back, see all the chariots. You know the end. You know we're there, man. That's it. You see them chariots, you go, oh man, yep. We have officially reached the end. Officially. You alive in that time and you see them chariots come back, you know. Yep. It's over. Esau, you're done. You're finished, man. And that's the chariots in the scriptures. And there obviously there's so much stuff that you can go into, whatever the case may be. But I just want to get something. I hope, plus was edifying, and I hope that I brought it up well enough. So those are the UFOs, so-called UFOs in the scriptures, right? I gave him two accounts. Showed what the cloud was with the chariot, and gave some more information about it. So hope it was edifying. Hope you got some out of it. Want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, and Bahashem Rakakwadash. Catch you guys another lesson, Lord willing.